What is going on, everybody? Season 10 of Alone is in the books. We have our winner, and came down head to head between Alan and Wyatt, with Alan probably winning by virtue of not having a med check done. At the very end there, I really felt like if there would have been a med check on either Wyatt or Alan, that was it. That was the season. And somehow Wyatt taps out first. I'm actually a little blown away by that. He kind of had his last piece of fish, slept the night, woke up in the morning, watched a beautiful sunset, and tapped out. I really thought that he was gonna grind to the bitter end, but watching him at the end there, it felt like he got the absolute most that he could out of this experience. And I genuinely feel like this was great for his life. Like, I feel like most other people on the show, being on the show is going to be a hardship for their life. And for Wyatt, it feels like this was something that he just needed to do in his life, that his journey was completed just the way it was supposed to. And you usually don't say that about somebody who winds up second place on one of these shows, because usually it's just all about whoever wins is the best and they're the only winner from the season. But this feels a little different. I feel like Wyatt got exactly what he wanted out of this experience, and then said goodbye to Reindeer Lake and went home, leaving Alan Tenta as our season 10 winner. We all kind of expected that it was going to come down to Alan and Wyatt. Mikey, yeah, he was there. He wasn't doing anything, and it was just a matter of time before he got pulled. Really, I mean, they did come and do a medical check on him, and he taps out during the medical check. But I think he was probably about 30 seconds away from the doctors pulling him anyways. No food. One time they popped up a caption that said he had caught 21 mice during the season, which isn't even as much as one fish. And, it's mind-blowing that he made it as far as he did, no fishing. He basically did it with no food. There was 21 mice and a handful of grouse, basically, and a squirrel. That was his season. He had no business being out there, whatever it was, 55 days. That is way too long for somebody to have been out there with absolutely nothing. But, when you come in to the show at 300 pounds, you can just chill out for quite a while. But yeah, Mikey, if he would have even just done okay food-wise, he probably would have won this season. But he did horrible food-wise, and really just struggled for as long as he could. He looked and sounded quite broken at the end. And I'm not surprised, because that was basically 2 months of absolute misery for him. Kind of all over the place here. Let's jump back to our winner, Alan Tenta. Congratulations. I can't wait to talk to my brother-in-law to see how he feels about his former teacher winning Alone. That ending when his wife came, he even got me a little bit emotional. He was done. He was absolutely done. And then he's the winner. I feel like most other seasons, the winner feeling like they still have some left in the tank. And it really felt and seemed like Alan was fully done. I don't think he had any food left. Maybe he had a little tiny piece of fish that we didn't see. He was completely striking out at the ice fishing. He was starting to get cold. He had no fat left on his body. He was absolutely done, only to find out that he is the victor of the season. It was kind of a surreal moment. just because, like I said, he had nothing left in the tank, was probably mentally preparing to go home, to tap out. He was probably mentally preparing to be medically removed from the show, and there he is getting crowned as the winner. Overall, great season. Alan and Wyatt were an absolute pleasure to watch all season long. I think both of them should be extremely proud of their performance. Our two Canadians battling it out toe to toe at the end was really awesome to see. We've done quite a few seasons in a row here in Canada, and I think it's time that we switch it up. I would like to see, maybe not just cold climates. Like, how long has it been since we did Patagonia, which, isn't really tropical, but is at least different than just over and over these Canadian locations. They're just not that much different from each other. You can go from the East Coast to the West Coast, and the struggle is roughly the same. Maybe it was a little different when they were actually on the coast, and you were getting some different resources from the water, not just fish. You could dig up some clams or mussels or whatever, but otherwise, the same seasons are the same. They land in the fall. They have a little bit of time to prepare for winter. Winter sets in, and then it's just a pure struggle until someone finally taps out. I'd like to see them go somewhere else. I didn't watch it, but we've had a successful season of Alone Australia, and I guarantee that it wasn't the same. They weren't just going in till it was like minus 40 out and people just couldn't live anymore. I want to see basically like people actually have to survive. That's it. Like, not just starve, not just struggle, which what this season felt like for most of the contestants. Like, really, outside of Alan and Wyatt, who really thrived? I mean, I guess we had a couple. Just Taz did okay, Luke did okay, but it kind of felt like everybody else just struggled, even with that amazing lake right there that shockingly, half the contestants just completely ignored. Absolutely bizarre to have that glorious resource available to everyone, and then half the people are just like, nah, don't really like fish, so we're just gonna wait till a moose walks onto our island. Which is another thing. Most of the people were on islands, and then think that they're gonna get big game. You're on a little dinky island. Yes, moose swim, bears swim, but it's just silly to me. You're not camping out a game trail. Your game trail is the lake. Your best chance to catch a moose is spot it in the lake and then watch it swim to your island by luck. Just pure silliness. I don't even know what point I was trying to make there. Overall, this was a pretty entertaining season. I think that we had a couple bummer contestants this season. I'd put Cade and Mikey in that category. Mikey, he had one good episode, and the rest of the time it was tough watching him. He wasn't doing anything pretty much all season long. We just heard him talking about the same things over and over. He's just sitting in his shelter making toys and burning off fat. That was about his entire season. And Cade came on the show thinking that he was the world's greatest hunter. Wasn't even aware that it was a survival show. Who was that lady who, I don't even remember her name. She just built a shelter and then left. That gives us nothing. That's not entertaining. It's not a competitive strategy. I want to see, I want to see 10 people really go toe to toe. And we probably had 4 this season. I want to see a full 10. Give us 10 legitimate survivalists who actually, want to win. actually understand the game and want to win. That would be better. And like, if not, do what UK Alone is doing. Just throw some random people out there. Throw somebody with no skills whatsoever out there and see what happens. That would be more entertaining than about half the people that were on this season. Like, somebody with no clue what they're doing, just trying to figure it out. That's more entertaining than Mikey sitting in a shelter, by a long shot. You know, maybe they don't make it as long, they don't survive as long, but it would be entertaining while they were there. But I think they need to step the game up for season 11. You know, season 10 should have been like a monumental season. And while we did get a great duel at the end between Alan and Wyatt, there was a lot of just detours along the way that, in my opinion, really detracted from the season. Overall, yeah, definitely enjoyed it. Definitely we will be back for season 11, but hope that they step their game up. And, you know, especially with like the editing and stuff, it gets so repetitive with, oh, somebody's about to shoot a bow, cut to commercial. Oh, what's this? Another cliffhanger, cut to commercial. You know, and like the previews, you know, like we got shown at the start of the season, Alan walking onto the lake to go ice fishing. So it's like, well, Alan's going to make it at least until the top 3. And it's like, why would that be? And they try to trick us by using Cade's voiceover while Alan's walking out to the lake. And it's like, no, we can see that's Alan's coat. So that's Alan. You know, Alan and Cade aren't going to do a coat swap mid-season. But yeah, they could just do a lot better job with that. It almost felt like this season that the editors kind of got bored as the season progressed. You know, we came down into this last episode and they were just dragging it out. You know, they should have had the Mikey tap out last week. And just this episode should have just strictly been Alan versus Wyatt. Give us all of the information. Tell us exactly what's going on. Tell us exactly how much food they have. Tell us how much weight they've lost. You know, tell us what they've been doing with their day. You know, I want all of it. Instead, we just kind of jump back and forth, not much happening, back and forth. You can just make it a lot more interesting in that. You know, tell the story. Don't make the contestants tell the story. Like, you're the production team, you're the editors. You tell the story. The story is food. The story is shelter. The story is calories. You know, tell us all of it. I want to know, hey, Alan's lost 55 pounds. I want to see that. I want to know, you know, I want to know like what are the requirements for a medical poll? I want to know, I want to be sitting there at home thinking like, wow, like if Alan loses another pound, like he's out of there. And we're just not given that. We're just kind of drug along, especially this last episode, just kind of drug along to get to the end. And I mean, yeah, the end was great. I loved all of that with Alan and his wife. I thought that was an amazing moment to witness, to watch. But most of the rest of the episode wasn't fantastic. Wyatt's tap out was great. Alan winning was great. But everything else to get there, you know, where's the story? Where's the hook? Like, your hook is that, well, they've already watched 10 episodes, so they're going to watch an 11th. Not good enough. Like, step the game up, make this more entertaining for us, the fans. Bring us into the story more. You know, give us that information, give us that knowledge. Let us in to what's happening. You know, my wife and I were even talking, like, we didn't even know, like, is Mikey even starting fires? Like, how can that be a detail that is not even shown? Like, if he's sitting in that shelter with no fire, like, that's absolute insanity. We saw him eating that snow out of his pot. Like, it was like, what on earth is happening? Like, we're obviously missing a big piece of the puzzle here on what's happening with Mikey, because, you know, that's like exactly how you lose. Just being in the middle of winter and start eating snow. That's got to be about the stupidest thing you can do on the show. Like, he might as well have been feeling dirty and just went for a dip in the lake. Get a good soap going at like 10-15 below. But instead he just keeps all his clothes on, says like, hey, I'm just gonna down all this snow, and we're gonna get hypothermia from the inside out. It's the dream scenario. I'm just rambling at this point. I enjoyed the season. I still have complaints, but overall, yeah, whatever. We're not doing it overall. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'm out.